Welcome to Emotions and Stories. Falling in love is a magical time. Everything seems possible, and we believe in the happily ever after. But is that the reality that we always face? Let's begin our today's story when love turns into envy. Anuj and Kirti had once been the power couple of their college. He, the ambitious MBA topper, she, the star of the journalism department. They had married with dreams bigger than their rented 1 BHK in Andheri. Theirs was a relationship built on late night Maggie, shared hopes, and whispered promises about making it big together. 10 years later, they both made it, just not in the same direction. Kirti had climbed the media ladder quickly. A viral interview with a cricketer, a hard hitting documentary on education scam, and suddenly she was the face of a primetime news show. Glamorous, articulate, bold, her TRP soared and her face was on billboards across Mumbai. Invitations to award nights and panel discussions became her regular weekend plan. Anuj, on the other hand, wasn't doing badly, just not as spectacularly. After a few job changes and one failed startup, he was now working in a senior position at a fintech firm. Stable, decent pay, long hours, but nothing newsworthy. At first, the imbalance was subtle. I saw you hoarding outside Bandra station, Anuj said one evening, pouring himself a drink. You've replaced Amitabh Bachchan, huh? Kirti smiled, wiping off her makeup. Just lucky, I guess. But behind that smile was a silent sigh. He didn't ask how the show went again. And behind his drink, Anuj swallowed the bitter taste of inadequacy again. The real cracks began to show at anniversary dinner. You forgot to make that investment I told you about, Anuj asked. I've been shooting all week, Anuj. I'm not sitting in front of spreadsheets like you, Kirti snapped. Well, maybe if you did, we wouldn't have missed a good return, he replied sharply. They sat in silence, the candle flickering between them. The waiter placed the dessert, molten lava cake, and walked away, sensing the tension. Not every story has to go viral to be called a success, Anuj muttered. Not every desk job gives you the right to look down on people who actually followed their dreams, Kirti replied. What used to be playful banter had turned into passive aggressive digs. Their jealousy wasn't loud, but it lived in their silence, their forgotten questions, the way they scrolled past each other's achievements without hitting like on social media. One Sunday morning, Kirti was preparing for a live panel debate while Anuj sat reviewing a pitch deck. The house was quiet except for news channel in the background. The anchor suddenly announced, Journalist Kirti Mehra backs the Voice of the Year award. Anuj looked up stunned. She hadn't even told him. Kirti, meanwhile, had seen his LinkedIn post that morning, thrilled to announce her company secured Series B funding. She hadn't congratulated him either. Two people living under one roof, celebrating milestones with strangers instead of each other. That evening, Kirti finally broke the silence. Why didn't you tell me about the funding? Anuj looked at her. The same reason you didn't tell me about the award. Their eyes met, tired, resentful, aching. Do you even care anymore? Kirti asked. I care too much, he said. So much that every time you succeed, I feel like I'm shrinking. She stared at him and said, That's exactly how I feel. It hit them both. They weren't enemies. They were simply losing a game they never agreed to play. a game of comparison. Over chai on the balcony that night, they finally spoke like old days. We said we would rise together, Anuj said, softer now. But we never said we wouldn't fall alone, Kirti replied. They laughed, bitterly but together. I miss being your biggest fan, he confessed. And I miss being yours, she replied. The next morning, Kirti posted a photo. Not from the studio, but from their balcony with Anuj in the background. The caption said, "Success is sweetest when shared." So proud of this guy and his big win this week. Here's to rooting for each other again. And this time, Anuj hit like first. Not because he had to, but because he meant it. When love becomes a competition, everybody loses. Not every family requires brothers or sisters or in laws for creating issues, enmity, and sadness. Sometimes it's people who fell in love and decided to spend their life together start running so further apart from each other that they make their lives a miserable one. Not every family drama has to end in tears. Sometimes the shade of envy can be returned to love again. I hope you enjoyed today's story. Do let us know in the comments what you think about it. Thank you.